Hi everybody, my name is Steve Stevens. I'm the founder of Intelligent Networks and its chief architect. Now, I'm also the creator of Elastic ISP. We've talked to you about briefly in the past about Elastic ISP, and I'm going to just today talk about scalability. Now, what scalability means in an elastic sense is that you can grow as much as you need. Now, if you've got familiarity with Amazon Cloud Computing and EC2, the whole purpose of EC2, Elastic Compute, is that you can change on demands your needs. So for example, this morning I had a server, it was running on a M1 small image I think, and I needed more RAM. So what I did was shut it down, change it to, I think I went to an M1 large or an M3 large, bang, spun it up, it went from 1.5 gig of RAM to 8 gig of RAM in the space of a minute. Now this is very interesting. The network world has moved into this space. Cisco make the, especially Cisco is one of the most common ones, they make the Cisco CSR 1000V. Now that is a normal Cisco router, very similar to the old Cisco 7200 or the ASR 1K series. It has mostly the same features, LAC, LNS, I think they even call them VLNS, VBNG, those kinds of functionality. Best thing about these is on some cloud providers, you can just pay for them by the hour. And so like might be $1 per hour. Now in a month, on most cloud providers, they deal between $730 and $750 hours per month, which means that's $750 per month to run that one box. I think in the hourly licensing, it's almost at full capacity, which means we're talking gigs of throughput, as many users as you want or can load up, and for $750 a month instead of thousands and thousands, I think it's about $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 to own that perpetual license. Now over a year, sure, this can be more expensive, but the whole point of this is that you can grow. Now, one of the best advantages of these from Cisco and the other ones from Juniper and so forth is you get a grace period, whether it's 15, 30, 60 days licensing break till it's enforced, which means you can spin up as much as you need. So if you've got a massive increase in your network capacity, and we've got like 2 of these, and we need to go to 10, it costs us nothing to spin them up and have them running in an, so if you've got a normal LAC situation with multiple handoffs, and you've got your LNSs doing load balancing to each other, for us to spin up another layer or a whole bunch more of those, we can do that really, really, really quickly and for free. The best thing about it is do it now, worry about the cost later. So you might only have a massive spike for a variety of reasons. You might be doing network migrations, you could be doing all sorts of things. So we can actually spin up a whole massive amount of capacity and then just kill it and not have to worry about the licensing at all. Won't even have to pay anything. But the best thing about these, no OPEX unless you want to. So you can still buy these. You won't have to pay any of this. You'll just pay some hosting fees. I think it might be about maybe $100 a month or wherever it is, depending on the CPU and RAM that you might need in your images. But with these, you can actually also BYOL, which means bring your own license. Now, best thing about BYOL is TYOL, take your own license. If you're not happy with this cloud provider, you can go to you can go to AWS, you can go to Azure, you can go to Orion, you can go to anyone else that supports the hosting of those platforms, so VMware and many other different versions, which means you take your license with you. Now that is really, 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 really a good thing. Sorry, I can't emphasize how much it is awesome that you can actually move your licenses around. And if you're growing and you want to move these to much bigger platforms, you want to offload it to physical hardware, or you're getting very, very serious, then one of the things you can do is recycle them around to other platforms and other purposes. So if you're running a LAC here, and LNS is here, you can cycle that back around and you don't need different kind of licenses or some of the different functionality. The best things about the CSR is it's just a Cisco router. Best BGP border ever. And supports nearly all the functionality that any normal Ciscos do. So essentially, when we're talking about scalability, spin up as many as you need. Now, it's not just Cisco. We've got the VSRX. We can run the Cumulus Networks VX version. We can run A10. We can run actually quite a lot. And also, if you're happy to use open source, we just spin up Linux boxes again and again and again. If you don't want to use like a Juniper or an ASA, oh, that's another point. So in the firewall world, VSRX, awesome. VASA. Also Cisco, Kevin Block was telling me about a year ago, they're spinning up 40 to 50 appliances, all virtualized. So that means you're going to be able to have wireless access controllers, many other Cisco functionality and devices that were previously physical hardware in the cloud, as you need, on demand. Tell me how you're not going to be able to scale to tens of thousands of users. Tens of thousands of users. Hundreds of thousands. 500,000 users? I don't see what the problem is. Given that the CSR 1000V also comes in a 10 gig license, I'm pretty sure it runs on the cloud versions. Might be only a 2 or 3 5 gig license, but it doesn't really matter. I actually prefer, separating the functionalities, more boxes, scaling out, as opposed to scaling big. I would rather 100 of these running at the gig licensing than 10 of them running at 10 gig licensing. There's more to run, but with automation, you don't have to log into these things. Well, also with things like elastic load balancing on AWS and other cloud providers, means you can spin up things as you need. So when it comes to scalability, one of the things you've got to realize is the automation functionality is really awesome. Now, this is one of the things that I helped a customer in the last couple of years figure out, is use what you need when you need it. If you spin up your images and they are running 24/7 and you write 100 of them running 24/7, you're paying less, sure, but you're still paying a constant rate. But what about this? In an ISP context, there's going to be times of the day that things are quieter, in the middle of the night. So imagine that you had 20 routers. Not really going to go into what they could be doing. Let's say you've got 20 routers in the middle of the day, 20 Ciscos. Using something like an elastic load balancing concept, you can have these monitored, and across the average load could be, let's say, running at, we set the trigger at 75%. So if these boxes are going along, doing their thing, and it reaches a threshold of 75%, then the elastic load balancing scripts kick in, spin up another one, or another one, and the more average, because that'll bring up across the average and it'll take some load off, that 75 will drop back down to maybe 70. And then, if something gets really busier and busier and busier, spin up some more. So currently we're at 28, 30, 50, 100. Can keep just, the more you load up, the more the average is spread across them all, and so forth. Now, then you're sitting there running 50 or 100 Ciscos, virtual Ciscos. No problems when they start to scale back down, because if they're spinning up, you kind of need it. If you want to push the limit higher, you can make that 95 if you want, but I'd like to have like a nice, more smoother transition. But the good thing is when things start to quieten down, goes below that line. You might set a low threshold of 70. And when the average load drops below, kill off some. So using your COA, get users to move to another router or whatever the throughput, whatever you're using it for, and you're going down to 40, which brings it back up. And it slowly goes down. Kill some. Go down to 30, 20, and so forth. And then basically it finds its own way. This is the best part about scalability and the elasticity. Something that's been enjoyed by service for a while now, but now we get to use it on the networks. Absolutely fantastic. It applies to routers, virtual switches, virtual firewalls, virtual CGN, any device that is considered in the cloud and can be managed by an elastic load balancing concept. Most of the cloud providers have them, and they can script them, and that's what is really, really, really good. And it actually really excites me that in the old days, when you bought $1 million of hardware and it just sat there, costing you $1 million, 24 hours a day, right? Its power costs the same, its depreciation, everything. It's the same, 24/7. In this world, you pay for what you need. If you get busy, pay more. You want to be able to scale up. You want to be able to grow. You know, and you can set upper limits if you want, whatever you need to be. But it also means that when you're not doing anything, you're not paying for it. You're not sitting there watching a whole bunch of servers in a data center humming away at 4 o'clock in the morning while no one's using it. Now, everything that we've just talked about network, obviously it works on the servers too. If you've got web servers, DNS servers, accounting servers, so many different versions of servers, mail servers, they operate in exactly the same way. If you're running a mail cluster, you can have a front head end with an elastic load balancer. If you start sending 1 million emails, then it can spin up and then spin down when that's gone away. So the other thing, if you're using cloud appliance, that's a DOS protection or other security, scaling up for the same thing. If you want to buy a small license for a small DOS provider, just keep spinning up. When it subsides, spin down again. That scalable computing for network engineering on Elastic ISP, and talk to us if you need any more information.